YouTube? Hey, what's up? Hopefully we're actually alive. YouTube was doing that thing where it was telling me, like, it gave me a little, like, oh, you're live notification, then it said that I wasn't live, then it said I was live again. So I don't know what to believe anymore. But speaking of not knowing what to believe, hey, we're getting into some real, like, esoteric bullshit in this time, in this episode. How's it going, everybody? I have thoughts regarding the way that things have planned out up until this point in the story, and I do need to revise some of my previous judgments on story events and stuff. But before that, everything looking okay, everything sounding okay. Usual checks. And how is your day going? The collective known as chat. Man, I'm so hyped for this zone. I'm going to go and actually... Yo, what up?
あなたが自己意識を有していることを確認。ただし、原始的ながら武器を携帯していることも確認。センサーによる監視を。
That's interesting. Okay, so I've got some thoughts. I kind of want to wait for more people to filter in before I go off on this massive rant. Oh, you're getting lag, but it could just be you. Ooh, no, I'm getting hella frame drops. Okay. Ah, that would probably do it. 1 second. This is going to... Things are, Well, hey, what happened? I'm gonna... Turn... And totally isn't going to immediately restabilize the stream. No, so actually... Okay, hey, we're back. So, that's my bad. I'm going back home for, Thanksgiving this year. And so, as you do, I used my VPN to make sure that I wasn't getting, like, you know, throttled on, ticket prices and stuff. Right? Because if you have a local IP to where you're trying to fly out of, yada yada yada. But as a result, I think I was set to be in, like, Omaha or something. And yeah, I don't think that that's gonna be great, great for YouTube. Apologies. I knew I was forgetting something. That should have fixed it. We good now? I think we're good now. Looking a lot better? Yeah. So... I almost wanted to do this as, like, an entirely separate stream meme, but... They're going mad deep. With the storytelling in this whole segment. And it actually, like, I understand now why they wouldn't want to have the suggested, like, timeline break. And have the ancients make it out alive, but in, like, a, you know, different time sort of meme. Because that would kind of fuck up the entire thing that they're going for with Dunamis here. I think I will get into it more when it arises here, but I've got a prediction. I got 2 predictions for this zone, considering that it is Omega, right? 1, so the previous 2 zones were essentially abstract debates between the dead civilizations and the Dawn, which is representing the counters to those arguments as it pertains to absurdism and existentialism. Right, like, that's the whole structure there. That's why they have, like, you know, you explore and you talk to the civilization, and then some member of the Dawn provides a counter to that argument, which then manifests itself into reality via Dunamis, because with the thumbnail that I went with being Aristotle, they're going very hard on potentiality and actuality. Like, they are representing... Dunamis is being represented as the concept of something having potential for change, and being able to enact that change upon reality. So here, we already went with the Ea were the argument for suicide in an absurd world. The dragons were the argument for apathy. And then here, I think that Omega is likely going to be the representation of either religion or natural law. Some sort of natural law argument. Because that's one of the, you know, the most common responses to absurdist or, you know, absurd reality is to find some form of higher meaning in it all. And so I think that they might go with something along the lines of the Adirans in the Culture series. Shocker, man who always talks about the Culture series is talking about the Culture series again. Who also make a sort of claim of, you know, being effectively the, like, naturally ordained highest life forms in the universe, and as such, it being their, like, divine right and, like, burden to subjugate and control the lesser things beneath them. Or they would go for something, or they might go for something a little bit more esoteric. And I highly doubt that these machine life form things with Omega are going to just have started out this way. It's probably going to be some sort of civilization that, like, us, you know, progressed themselves to the point of developing the sort of machine life, this sort of, you know, artificial intelligence sort of thing. However, in this setting, considering that we have straight up souls, you would reach the question of whether or not these things running around here actually constitute as having souls. Are they actually capable of housing a soul? I mean, just looking at them and looking at the physical nature of the design, I would probably guess not. So, what would happen if you've got this sort of life just kind of mimicking, not like, you know, you've got these non-soul, non-life mimicking life. You could even go with the idea that they're trying to get back to being life, or something along those lines. But either way, I think that this whole segment is going to go deep on the concept of the soul, as it like, in regards to ether. There are many interesting things going on. The caffeine has not kicked in yet enough for me to be able to articulate it all cleanly. Ooh.
オレオ、見てくれ。ここにいる。奴らは警備中じゃないみたいなんだ。早速声をかけてみるぞ。
Okay, looks like these ones aren't on, like, aren't on guard, right? Or like, that's more like, providing active security. Right? Go talk to him.
なあ、ちょっといいか？俺たち、この星の住民を探してるんだ。
Hey, excuse me. We're looking for the, the people who live here. Like, that's like the inhabitants of this planet.
ライブラリーにない生命体です。流星、宇宙旅行者とお見受けします。
Is it? I'm sorry. Space hitchhiker? Really? Space hitchhiker? Oh, come on. Did they translate this? There's no way, right? I need to check. Nope, they didn't. Yeah, they didn't translate this. Just like they didn't translate Qualia for the last one, they didn't translate Space Hitchhiker here. Yeah, didn't. This is like verifying. Like, form of life not found in library. Like, identifying as Space Hitchhiker.
Hello, こんにちは。ここは惑星です。
Yo! Hello. This is planet.
悪い、もう一回言ってくれるか？
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
惑星ですが、どうやら我々の言語ではあなた方には聞き取りにくい様子。翻訳するならアルファトロンといったところでしょうか。
Planet. Apologies. It seems like difficult to comprehend in your language. If translated, it would approximate Alphatron.
陽光、ここは我々オミクロンの拠点の一つ、オミクロンベースと呼んでいただければ結構です。
Explanation. This is, one base of us, the Omicron. You may refer to it as Omicron base. Or that's like simply as Omicron
ここで
base.
は一体何をしているんだ？
Omicron base. What exactly are you doing here?
戦争の準備です。
Okay, yeah, that's about what you would expect. Preparing for war.
もっとも、次回の標的はまだ通達されていません。現状であなた方が怯える必要はないと断定します。
I'm sorry, Jikaino? Oh, okay. Like, our next target has not been announced yet. It's like we have not been given notice as to our next target. That's tatsu is more like notice like from administration. So, like, we have not received notice as to our next target yet. Therefore, in conclusion, I believe you have... That's more like, yeah. Cool. Dante shimasu. Yeah. Therefore, I conclude you have no reason to be afraid.
ただし、標的があなた方の出身性に設定された場合、即拘束、尋問、場合によっては抹殺させていただきます。どうかご了承ください。ガガ。
どうかご了承ください。Amazing. However, if our next target happens to be your home world, then you will immediately be arrested, interrogated, and in some cases, eliminated. We thank you for your understanding.
とてつもなく物騒な星だな。素直に話をしてくれたのは良かったが。
And this is a incredibly like disturbed, or it's more like dangerous world. I'm glad that they told us on straight up though.
俺、もう少しこいつから話を聞いてみるよ。あんたは他のオミクロンから何か聞き出せないか試してもらえるか？
Okay. Gonna try talking to this one a little bit more. Go ahead and see if you can find anything out from the other Omnicrons. Wonderful. Bro, I'm incredibly hyped for
自
this.
立型兵器軍の配備、よし。前衛部隊への新規装甲の配布、よし。補給物資の確保、よし。
Okay. Yeah, autonomous weapon deployment, check. Distribution of... Yeah, like new armor to Vanguard unit. Check. Cool. Like maintenance or yeah, like supplies secured.
戦闘の準備は滞りなくすべて完了しています。しかし、マスターからの出撃命令がありません。
All, yeah, war preparations have been completed successfully. However, there has been no dispatch order from Master. They did not translate this to Master. So just like they didn't do the space hitchhiker thing there, they didn't translate this to Master. They translated it to Sir for some reason back in the original Omega raid series. And they, of course, you know, as I've mentioned multiple times, they didn't translate that the Omega unit that you went up against was a single unit, like a lone drone going out to give chase to Midgard Zormer. They got rid of one line from one sentence and completely got rid of this foreshadowing. Yeah, okay. And we are on standby. Standby.
Gaga 戦闘能力測定、Gaga 規定外の弱さです。あなたを標的にする必要性はないと判断します。
Hey, hey! Hey, fuck you, buddy! Yeah, combat capability measurement. Burm, burm. What, like unspecified weakness, or like strength outside of, like, that's like strength below testing parameters, or it's more like strength below target minimums. Yeah. Verification, there is no need to target you.
では改めて、ハロー、こんにちは。我々はオミクロン、あらゆる星を制圧し、戦闘データや資源の回収をしています。
Yeah, therefore, hello. Hello. God, I want to do something fun for this haro, konnichiwa. It really should be something like, hello, good day. Or even like, hello, nice to meet you. This is a thing that they're all doing. It's very fun, and I do think you absolutely should translate this. Question, do they? No. They do not. They do not translate this bit. Yeah, we are the Omnicron. That's subjugating planets, collecting battle data and resources.
回収されたデータや資源は我々の強化、発達に余すところなく有効活用されるのです。
Okay, so we are doing probably some sort of natural law thing. Like, I'm assuming that we're going to get to talk to the whole master person, and they're going to give some form of justification as to why they alone, or like, you know, why they are a life form that is above others, and therefore their actions are moral. Yeah, this collected data will be like thoroughly utilized for our... This kyoka is... Yeah, that should be for like our development and growth.
先日はついに最強と名高い流星を滅ぼすに至りましたが、あれは大変微妙な星でした。ガガ。
Yeah, just recently we were able to fully destroy the, like, world, yeah, the great, you know, mighty world of the dragons. However, it was far below expectations. I'm assuming this bimyo means like it didn't really give them what they wanted.
戦闘データこそ多数取れたものの、星は枯れ果て、資源が回収できなかったのです。損失した戦力に見合うかどうかは怪しいところですね。
Okay, so they aren't saying that the world itself was below expectations in terms of strength, but rather that the yield that they got from it was not worth the effort. Yeah, although a large quantity of battle data was able to be collected, like, the planet had, like, withered, and no, like, actionable or useful resources could be collected. It is unknown whether or not the loss of our forces were warranted. You know, whether or not they gained more than they lost.
ガガ、旅行者ですか。ベースの外にいる警備用の兵器や壊れた機体にはご注意を。彼らはオミクロン以外を強制的に排除しようとしますので。
Ah, a traveler. Please take care of the security. Like, I would go with like security units and broken. That should be like security. You'd probably go with drones for Heiki there, because it is like security weapon and broken unit. So this kitai, kawareta kitai. Kitai means like fuselage, right? Yeah, just like, I mean, looking at a dictionary definition, basically it just says like everything outside dun, dun. 航空機のエンジン以外の部分. Okay, so it's like every part of an aircraft that is not the engines. So it's interesting that they use the term, like, what is it, kitai? Kikai? Was it kitai or kikai? Kitai. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. But this is the same term that they used for Omega. And it was like Tanki, so like lone unit. For Omega was saying that it was going to be deployed. So, I mean, Omega might just be one of these guys with like a frame built around it, pretty much. Broken, but in English for this I'd probably go with unit, because saying like airframe would probably be weird. You might just go with airframe though. They will attempt to forcefully eliminate anyone other than Omnicron.
我々はあれらと異なり、自立した思考を持ってマスターの至上命令を遂行しています。
Huh. Yeah, unlike them. Oh, so we are doing this. Okay, unlike them, we have capability for, like, individual thought. And carry out... Huh. 自助命令. Yeah, I guess you would just translate that to, like, the supreme orders. So, 自助命令 is, like, imperatives. The, like, overriding all else, right? Like, we carry independent thought and carry out, like, the overriding or supreme orders of the Master.
マスターは我々という機体群を導く存在。スティグマの呼称を持つ最上位の6体の中でも中核を担うスティグマ1の異名です。
Oh shit! Wait, that's awesome. Stigma? Wait, do they mean that in the... Considering the other ways that they've used this, that they probably mean it, like, literally, like stigma. Dude, I'm having so much fun. Okay, this might be controversial, but if they manage to land this even slightly, I think Endwalker is going to end up above Shadowbringers for me, like, by a pretty big margin, actually. They would have to do something really dumb for me to not put Endwalker at, like, the absolute top. Yeah, like, Master is... Yeah, the Master is the one who guides our, like, group. You know, like, our group of units. Yeah, like, it is the... Like, it is the alias for Stigma 1. 故障を持つ。相性。Wait a minute. 中核を担つ? Wait a minute. 中核を担つ? Hold up. I think that this might mean soul. I think that they might mean soul with this. This might be like their term of referring to soul. So like it is the alias for Stigma 1, like which is like the highest ranking authority amongst the 6 Stigma units. like, that carry control centers, like, or like resident control programs. Or that could also just be saying that they are like the 6 most important units, basically just designating them as their leaders. But I think that they're probably being a little bit more literal with that. Wait, what? Huh.
話は聞けたか？俺も報告したいことがあるんだが、ここだと、ちょっとな、オミクロンベースの外まで移動しよ
う。Yeah, okay, so you were able to talk to them. I have something to say as well, but I don't know about saying it here. Let's go a bit outside of Omicron base.
ああ、いたいた、2人とも。
Oh, you're here, both of you.
地形についてざっと調べてきたよ。結論から言うと、やはりここも先に進むことができない行き止まりだった。
So, okay, now that the caffeine is kicked in a little bit more, I think that what they might do here, considering that, like, dunamis is being used literally to mean things having potential. And, like, this is why I kind of am fine with them having the ancients die out, because they were shown as being, like, literally physically incapable of questioning their position in reality. Like, that's kind of the whole bit that they're going for. Is... like, the reason why they established the ancients as being basically all ether and not being able to utilize dunamis is a means of showing that they are incapable of, like, comprehending their own place in the universe and changing themselves. And I mean, you see that in the story with everybody other than Hermes being literally physically incapable of questioning their point, like their role in the universe. They all just know sort of intrinsically, or like intuitively, naturally, that their place in the world is to make the world a better place, and that's it. They don't even think about anything else. They can't think about anything else. And so you really can't have that society end up doing anything other than failing? Because, I mean, that's sort of the point. They have to fail. But I still think you could have done it in a more elegant way. Ah, man, there's too much. There's too much stuff. I've actually been reading fucking Aristotle like I'm in high school again, being a tryhard. But, like, there's some stuff that if it shows up, I want to talk about it, and it's really cool. But I'm not quite sure, so it's like, do I go off on my insane schizo rant now or not? Probably not. Okay, we looked around the area. And just to get to the point, there's, you know, nowhere else for us to go. This place is a dead end.
私たちが転移してきたのと同じ装置があって動かせたものは使ってみたんだけど移動した先も閉ざされた島だったわ。
Okay, there's a device similar to the one that we used to, like, transport or to move here, but like when we tried using it, we just ended up in a, you know, closed off, like another closed off island.
調べてきてくれてありがとな。ということは、ここを行き止まりにしている思いをまず突き止めないとな。
Okay. Yeah, thank you, both of you. So in order to get through here, we need to figure out, you know, the will making this place a dead end, a final destination. God, this is... It keeps getting dumber that they translated this to emotion. It really just keeps getting dumber. Hold on. So there is a segment here. Actually, yeah, I just found the thing again. This is from a fucking Stanford document on Aristotle's metaphysics. That I think actually matters for this. Like, this matters immensely for why they're utilizing the word omoi in the way that they are. And I think this is, instead of me attempting to, like, give my own summary of it currently, probably just utilizing the source that I was, like, reading from directly is better. So, this is gonna be a bit. But also, this is why you shouldn't translate it to dynamis with a Y. So. Him. This is what they're pulling from for the game, very clearly. Aristotle distinguishes between two different senses of the term dunamis. In the strictest sense, a dunamis is the power that a thing has to produce a change. A thing has dunamis in this sense when it has within it a starting point of change in another thing, or in itself insofar as it is other. The exercise of such a power is kinesis, a movement or process. See where we're going with this? So, for example, the house builder's craft is a power whose exercise is the process of house building. But there's a second set of dunamis, and it is the one in which Aristotle is mainly interested. That might be better translated as potentiality. For as Aristotle tells us, in the sense dunamis is related not to movement, but to activity. A dunamis, in this sense, is not a thing's power to produce a change, but rather its capacity to be in a different or more completed state. Aristotle thinks that potentiality, so understood, is indefinable, claiming that the general idea can be grasped from a consideration of cases. Activity is to potentiality, Aristotle tells us, as what is awake is in relation to what is asleep, and what is seeing is in relation to what has its eyes closed but has sight, and what has been shaped out of matter is in relation to the matter. Do you understand? So, we have dunamis in the setting, which is clearly being utilized to refer to potential in this sense. The capacity for things to be different than they are. And you have omoi as the thing that acts upon dunamis, that is, will. The active will, the desire, the motion to create things as different to as they currently are. And so, having the ancients have no fucking dunamis basically whatsoever is representing them as being incapable of change. as being incapable of growth. They simply are as they are, and that's all they were ever going to be. Hence, them literally not being able to comprehend things being different than they currently are, not being able to comprehend changing their reality, changing their position in things, not being able to comprehend coming to a different understanding of their own society and their own, like, morality. And here, us being able to do that. It's a greater meta-commentary on the concept of consciousness.
そっちの守備はどうだったの？話せる相手は見つかった？
Okay. How did it go on your end? Did you find anybody you could talk to?
"つまり、ここの住民はオミクロンと名乗る存在で、他の星を侵略することで発展を遂げている。"
Okay. So the, like, residents of this world, or the people of this world, are, like, known as the, or that is, call themselves Omicron, and have developed via invading other worlds. Well, I mean, like, that's the... They're actually going very deep on this whole potentiality and actuality concept in the game. And they're going very deep in having all of the characters give, like... This whole segment is just a series of debates. Really. Each one of these civilizations is representing a different argument. And then the characters in the Dawn are criticizing or refuting that argument. Like, in the section with the Ia, they were making the case for qualia. Right? They were talking about their inability to truly know whether or not the like, bodies that they would make would be able to experience things in the same way as they would when they originally had bodies, and make the case that their true understanding of the universe would be incomprehensible to you as you are lesser beings, but you just have to take their word on it that the heat death of the universe is inevitable, and it is for your own good then that you listen to them as higher beings and accept it just on their word. Then Y'shtola makes the argument that as they cannot, like, experience reality through their lens, their argument and their conclusion that life is meaningless and the heat death of the universe, entropy, is entirely inevitable, has no bearing, as they cannot comprehend it from their perspective exactly, like, from their perspective objectively. And then they got rid of the word qualia.
"彼らは竜の星を滅ぼし、次の海戦に備えているけれど、牽引役であるマスターが指示を出さないため、待機が続いているということだね。"
But really the short form, like, the short form easy version of the basic gist of the whole, where I wrote it somewhere, the whole potentiality and actuality thing. The short form version of Aristotle's whole, like, actuality concept is, like, if something can exist, it must be able to not exist if something cannot not exist, it must already exist. Which I think is something that we might be getting into here if they go for some sort of religious justification for why they're doing what they're doing. Some sort of appeal to the eternal, like, thing that must have already been for the universe to be. Let us see. And they destroyed the dragon's world and are preparing for their next war, but since the master leading them has not issued any instructions, they're on standby.
しかし、そうなると、ウリエンジェが言っていたことは、この場所で終わりを願っているのは誰かっていうのは、誰になるんだろうな。
Yeah, so, in that case, what, like, comes down to what Urian just said, which is, like, who in this place desires the end? I wonder who that would be here.
ウリエンジェがそんなこと言ってたの?
Well, it's more like Urian just said, like, you have to find... like, who it is that wishes for the end. Yeah, that was what Urian just said. Like, that's the thing we're looking for.
イーヤの星で、時世のレンク碑を訪ねる前にな。
Yeah. It's like, that's how he described it on the Ia's world before we visited their, like, death poem monument.
そうだったのね。ウリエンジェったら私たちにも直接言いなさいよ。
I see. Now, is it still... I mean, this is valid. Yeah, Ranger, come on. Just tell us... Yeah, why wouldn't you just tell us straight up?
でも、確かにその観点で見ると、おかしな状況だね。
Okay. Yeah, but from that perspective, this place is incredibly strange.
ジルもイヤも、当人たちが終わりを望んでいた。しかしオミクロンについては、開戦を待ちわびている。到底、終わりたがっているとは思えない。
I think that they're probably going to go with the idea here that these Omicron units do not have souls, in that case. Yeah. With both the dragons and the Ia, like, the people themselves wanted the end. However, the Omicron are, like, on standby for war. I don't believe they want, you know, an end to all things.
誰が終わりを望んでいるのか、それを特定するためにも、彼らの指導者であるマスターに会ってみないか?
Okay, so in order to find out who actually wants, you know, to end it all, I believe, like, shouldn't we try and find this leader of theirs, this master?
実は、最初に声をかけた M-032 からマスターと交信できる端末があるって聞いたんだ。
Okay, actually I heard that, you know, from M032 that there was like a terminal from which you could speak with the master.
同時に言っても無駄だとも言われたんだが、とにかく一度行ってみないと状況はわからないだろう。
Yeah, at the same time it told me that there was no purpose going there. However, you know, we won't actually know for sure until we actually go there, you know, until we see it for ourselves.
私もマスターに会ってみるのは賛成だよ。オミクロンに起きている最大の異変は、
言っても無駄だって。
Yeah, Alfino, that's a good point from Alfino, that they're just on standby waiting for the order for the next target that they're going to go after, but the order hasn't been given. Mitsukaranai. Oh. Mitsukaranai. ... What would be a two-character thing for, like, not found? Or cannot find blank? Maybe Imi? Ishi? I think this might either be, like, meaning or will. Like, either Imi or Ishi.
聞いた限り、マスターに会うための端末は、この浮島のもっと奥にあるみたいだ。
Okay, it looks like the terminal to meet, like, used to meet the master is further down this
まっすぐ行
island.
ければいいんだが、足場が、この感じだと、迂回が必要かもしれないな。
Okay, it'd be nice if we could just go straight there, but yeah, you know, this place is a mess, so it
歩
might,
けると
you
ころを
know,
確
take
認し
a
ながら、奥
might
の
need to
方
take
を
a
目
bit of a
指そう。
detour to get there. Watch your step and try and reach the end of the terminal. Okay. But there's a I need to go over there actually very quickly because otherwise I will never come back here to get this. Oh, god damn it, these things actually aggro? I thought I was over leveled for them. Eh, whatever. Nuke. That's fine. But considering how hard they're going on utilizing the concept of Dunamis as actual potential and actual ability to, like, exact change over yourself and the universe, it really does make sense why they have Heidelin do what she does, but I still think that you could do it in a more elegant way. Right? Like, I still think it would probably just be better if you had Heidelin get memory wiped at the same time as everybody else. But even in the current situation, it still makes sense, because if, like, as beings of pure ether, with really, or like mostly pure ether, right? They said, like, they would be pretty much unable to actually change themselves. Like, even if they know what's coming, they'd be pretty much powerless to actually change it. Just from a, like, metaphysical sense. That's just like they are bound to their nature.
装飾部がうっすらと光っているから。
ああ、ああ、聞こえる？マスター、ねえ、マスターってば。
Amazing. Alize just goes up, he goes, hey, can you hear me? Yo, hey, master person.
ダメね、全くは。
No, yeah. No luck. Looks like there's no response. I don't think that's gonna work.
ひとまず到着だな。これが M-032 の言ってたマスターと交信するための端末で間違いないと思うんだが。
Okay, we're here. I'm sure that this is the terminal that M032 mentioned. What?
これは停止してるのか？
してるのか？Hmm. Yeah, like, seems, Well, this might be Choji? powered
あ
down
んた
pretty
も
much.
ちょっと見てみてくれないか？
Can you go take a look? Oh, access point.
触れたり叩いたり交換を試みてみたがアクセス
I'm
ポイ
sorry,
ントは
what?
完全に
We just
沈
hit
黙
it?
したままだ。
Yeah, like tried touching it. Hitting it. Yeah, trying to commune with it, but yeah, access point remains completely inoperative.
やっ
Provides
ぱ
no
り
response.
動いてないよな。
Doesn't seem like it's working, huh?
何かないのか？こいつについてわかること、動かす方法は？
Is there really... It's like there's gotta be something, something we know about this, some sort of way to... Like, in what we know of this, like, some sort of way to make it work.
ダメね。正直さっぱりだわ。
Yeah, nothing's working, honestly. I'm entirely out of ideas.
私もだよ。操作方法以前にそもそも起動しないとなるとどこをどうしていいやらだ。
Okay, as am I. But you know, let alone understanding how to utilize it or like how to operate it. If it just doesn't work at all, what do we do?
一つ試せることがあるかもしれない。
Well, there's one thing we can try out. Or there might be something we can
まず
try out.
考えるべきはここがどんな星の再現なのかってことだ。
And the first thing to consider is, like, what sort of world this is a recreation of?
住民たちの機械のような体。戦闘の記録を集めて自分を強化してるって話や。竜の星と戦っていたこと。
I mean, yeah, it's Omega, so... And we've... The inhabitants, like, machine bodies... That... You know, we heard that they're utilizing battle information or battle records to strengthen themselves. That should be, like, enhanced, actually. Like, that they fought the dragons on their world.
あんたも予想がついてるんじゃないか？そう。ここはあのオメガの母星だと思うんだ。
You... Yeah, you probably already figured it out, right? Yeah, this must be, or I believe this is, Omega's homeworld.
で、オメガ本体と戦った時のことを思い出してくれ。シドがオメガの弱点は雷だって見抜いて、強力な雷発生装置を作ってくれたんだよな。
So try to remember when we, or when you fought Omega itself. Yeah, he wasn't there for this. Sid figured out that Omega's weakness was lightning. He made a massively powerful, like, lightning, or like thunder generator.
それがこの端末とどう関係してくるわけ？まさか雷を落とそうって言うんじゃないでしょうね。
And what does that have to do with this terminal? Don't tell me you're planning on, like, hitting it with lightning or something.
そのまさかさ。オメガほど強力な
そのま
兵器が雷に
そのまさか。
弱ったのは遮断するわけにはいかなかったからとは考えられないか。
Yeah, that's I do mean. You can't seriously be thinking about hitting it with like lightning or something. I am thinking about that. Like, what? The reason why something as powerful as Omega was weak to lightning was... It's like, do you have any, like... Can you think about why... Do you have any idea why something as powerful as lightning was... As Omega was unable to like, shed off lightning or something along those lines? Like, it couldn't, like, block off. It couldn't block out lightning. I'm assuming that we're just going with the idea of they're literally machines, and so they rely on electricity. Okay, we're just getting right to it. Nice. So, that must mean that they use... It could mean that they use something similar to lightning to, like, move themselves, or in the exercise of, like, some sort of function.
とすれば、他のオミクロンや彼らの扱う装置も同じ作りになってる可能性があるんじゃないかと思ってさ。
In that case, I believe that it's a possibility that the Omicrons and the, like, machinery that they utilize have a similar structure.
ひとまず軽い雷撃を落としてみようと思うんだが、いいか?
Okay. I want to try out, hitting it with a light, or like a low-intensity lightning strike. Is that alright? Your options here are go for it, I don't know, or deploy the Omega Jammer. Wait a minute, do I still have it? No, there's no way I do. But I'm gonna say it anyway. Hell yeah. Deploy the Omega Jammer.
あんたまだあれを持ってるのか? シドの決断とガーロンド社の技術、そしてネロの激励が生んだあの伝説の対オメガ用装置を?
He's so excited. Wait, you still have it? The legendary, anti-Omega device created by... But it's like... Sidon? Yeah, like through like Sid's determination, the Garland Ironworks' technology, and... Yeah, like, what, Nero's support? That legendary weapon.
あれはシドが本体を制御してないと使えないだろ? からかうなよな。
Wait, no, unless you, like, without Sid controlling, like, controlling the main body of it, you can't use it. Don't make fun. This is like, don't make fun of me. Enough with the pranks.
今回は俺の魔法でやるから見ててくれ。
Okay. I'm gonna... Yeah. Like, this time it's gonna be my magic doing the job, so... watch this. He's trying so hard to impress you. Top 10 Graha pranks. Yes. Well, that did not look particularly weak. It turned on. Okay. Verifying connection request from Communication Terminal 1. Approval. Or approved. Huh. This is like... Yeah. War Strategy Matrix Stigma 1. For your convenience, you may refer to me as Master. There are 0 new... Like 0 new items for transmission. Please continue to, like, maintain... like, maintenance in all departments. Okay, end of communication. Severing connection.
待ってくれマスターあんたに質問があるんだ
Please wait, Master. There's something that, we have questions for you.
ここ最近出撃命令が下りないのにどうしてだ何か問題でもあったのか
Yeah, why have no deployment orders been issued recently? Is there something wrong? Huh. Wait, that's interesting. Yeah, like, my intelligence, my... This is pretty much like saying brain, right? Is comprised of multiple independent units. Of these, the... like, long-term, like, action strategy unit? Or, like, the long-term strategy... You would probably just say, like, long-term strategy unit. Like, has not indicated further plans? Okay. Follow up. Okay, like, yeah, all operations are planned and, like, conducted in accordance with the outlines or strategy issued by the relevant unit. Okay, all personnel should continue preparations for battle and await, like, operation decision. Or, that's awkward. Like, all units should continue preparation for battle and await further instructions regarding, operational orders. Why is the long term? So, it's not really just strategy. Like, 行動計画 is, like, plan of action. And I think actually you probably do want to utilize the term action, considering that they're talking about, like, action and potential so much here. It's like the... You could say like long-term action strategy unit. You know, why is the like long-term action strategy unit? Or active? Activity, maybe? I don't know. It's hard to make it flow. Why is it like late in reaching a conclusion? Unable to reply. Either my information or your authority is insufficient.
では、長期行動計画ユニットと直接交信させてもらうことは?
In that case, would it be possible to directly communicate? Would you allow us to directly communicate? Sasate morau here is... Yeah, would you allow us to communicate directly with the long-term action planning unit? Like long-term strategy unit. Oh, like, yeah, transfer, like, connection denied. Unit cannot be accessed.
じゃあ、他に何か異常はない？この星に危機が迫っているとか、住民たちの不満が高まっているとか。
Yeah, is there anything else wrong? Is there anything else, like, abnormal going on? Is there some sort of danger approaching this world? Are the, you know, the people dissatisfied, or... Like, no phenomenon exists that, like, align with stated question. All residents are, like, healthy and alive. That actually matters a lot. Koyakatni. And, like they said, healthy and alive. Both of those things are weird. Okay, so that's the kanji for, like, factory or workshop, but it's read as clinic. Yeah, if you are, like, feeling unwell, please report to the clinic. If not, please wait at your posts. It's like all questions answered. Communication ending. Connection will be terminated.
どうするかな。もう一度起動させたとしても取り付く島はなさそうだ。
Wait a minute, what do you mean by shima here? I mean, I'm assuming you just mean, like, yeah, even if we were able to start it up again, there's, like, nothing for us to, like, no further leads.
とりあえず、今の話の範囲だと、やっぱり終わりを望んでるって感じじゃなかったわよね。
Okay, given what they, given what we just heard, it really doesn't seem like they want, like, an end to it all.
マスター自身も出撃命令こそ出してないだけで準備はしておけって言っていたし。
Yeah, the master itself didn't give any, like, orders for deployment, just, but did say to be on standby,
逆に
like,
言え
and
ば
prepared.
マスターの姿勢がそうである以上、準備を怠っていたり役目に逆らっている者がいれば怪しいかもしれないね。
Okay. So it's like, yeah, on the other hand, given like the master's stance, if there's like something or someone unprepared or was neglecting or refusing their duties, it would stick out.
そのあたりを念頭に置きながら、もう少し住民たちの様子を見てみないかい？長期行動計画ユニットについても聞いてみよう。
Okay, in that case, why don't we try and speak with the residents some more and see if we can find anything out about the like long-term strategy planning unit. I think that it's very key that it's like the long-term strategy unit. It might be just like attempting to calculate at present a way out of their current predicament, but it's just like, you know, taking forever because there is no possible way to calculate it.
オメガっていうと、イルベルドが召喚した神竜に対抗するために起動させた古代の兵器だったわよね。神竜の方は後になって。
Okay, she's just giving me the recap of Omega. I
俺
remember.
自身はオメガに会っちゃいないが、クリスタルタワーを第一世界に送るための技術に、オメガの次元を超えた事象観測を模した部分があったんだ。
Huh. I haven't seen
それで
interventional.
あんたたちの次元の狭間での死闘についてはレポートを暗記できるくらい読み込んでたんだ。
Okay, you
あ
read
と
the
は
report.
そうオメガの模型がさ未来まで伝わってた。俺が知ってるのは壊れかけの状態だったからこっちで綺麗なあいつを見たときすごく
Okay. Yeah, Grahatia was talking about, like, wow, it's so cool to be able to see, like, a completed version of it.
オメガっていうと、イルベルドが召喚した神竜に対抗するために起動させた古代の
Okay, let me see if
神
Alize
竜の
actually
方は
said.
後になってゼノスに利用されたけど、オメガの行方でもかすかな
Yeah, no, none of that was particularly important.
ではマスターの指令に背いているオミクロンがいないかオミクロンベースを中
Okay, let's see if there are any Omicron and Omicron base who are disobeying the Master's orders.
ならば次は私とアリゼでオミクロンと話してみるよ。少しは違った切り口になるかもしれない。
Okay, we might need to take a slightly different approach
少し
from
離れ
last
たとこ
time.
ろからオミクロンベース全体を監視してほしいんだ。
Okay.
聞いた限りオミクロン
Okay,
は
want you
マ
guys
スターの
to
命
like
令にとても
watch
忠
over the
実
base
だ。
from a
それだ
distance.
け行動は規則的になる異なる行動をしている者がいれば見つけやす
Okay,
いだ
the
ろう。
Omicron are incredibly loyal to the Master's orders. They're like, yeah, their activity becomes like predictable, regular. So if anything is operating like outside of that capacity, it'll be easier to find them.
それじゃあ私たちは行ってくるよ。必ず先に進む手がかりを見つけよ
Okay, let's go. That is just we'll find some sort of way
う。よ
to
し、俺
to.
たちも
move
オミクロ
forward.
ンベースが見渡せる場所に移動。
Okay, we're gonna be doing the stupid. This is gonna be the fucking what's it called? The little telescope minigame again, isn't it? And it's just like find the Omicron that isn't operating on a set pattern. That's what we're doing here. They really love this minigame. They really
オミ
do.
クロンベースの観察を開始します。他と異なる挙動の
Okay. You see any Omicron that like behave differently than the others? Click on. You're just looking at a thing. There's probably going to be one that's like moving around somewhere, right? I mean, this is like the only one. Oh, yeah, there's one just like zooming.
オミクロンがひたすらに徘徊している。デタラメな動きは目的を持っているようには見えない。
Yeah, it's wandering around, random movements don't seem to have any purpose. Oh, what? Was there going to be the... was the fucking Shuville still going to be there?
持ち場につかず、うろうろしてる奴がいる？どこだ？
Okay, there's like a Omicron wandering around. Okay, where? Ooh. There, that one, right? I mean, it probably, like, has orders to do something or go somewhere, but that thing or place doesn't exist.
オミクロンベースを出て行ったな。とにかく追いかけ。
Okay, left the base, let's chase after it. Ooh. I mean, it's fine. That would have been a fun little Easter egg or whatever, but I'm not too particularly bent out of shape about it. Ooh. What is that, some sort of, like, teleporter? Hmm. I'm trying to find... I had a thing... or this that I wanted to bring up on stream, and now I can't find it again.
Sakki no Omicron wa kochi ni kita hazu da ga inai na. Kono ten'i souchi o tsukatta no ka?
Okay, the Omicron we were following should be right around here, but can't find it anywhere. Do you think it used this teleportation device? You could probably just say teleporter.
俺たちも転移してみよう。その先にきっとあいつがいるはずだ。
I don't like that. No, I don't want to just try out teleporting in somebody's, like, fractured memory of a dead world. That sounds like a terrible idea. I'm gonna get turned into a cosmic smear. We're going right past the fucking event horizon. No. Okay. This is a terrible idea, man. Okay, bunch of lambda units. Yo! Wait, it's like some sort of fucking... It's some sort of crystal tree. Wait, that looks like an actual tree. I mean, it might just be made out of rock, but... still weird. I mean, it's got roots and shit.
Gaga, 何かご用でしょうか?
Is there anything you need? Yeah, do you need anything from me?
見つけたんだな。
Oh, you found it.
あんた、ここで何をしてるんだ?
Hey, what are you doing here? It's more like, what are you doing? Rather than necessarily here. And nah, it's whatever, that doesn't really matter. Oh, okay. I was looking at the tree.
これは随分変わった木だな。何かの装置が付けられてるのか？
It's a weird looking tree. There's some sort of, like, devices attached to it.
はい、これは他の星から接収した生態サンプルの一つ。この星の環境が生育環境と大きく異なるため、装置の補助なしでは生きていけないのです。
Okay. This is a biological sample taken from another planet. Like, due to the... Yeah, because the environment here is far different from the environment from which they were taken. Like, or in which they were born, right? They cannot survive here without the, like, aid of this system. Some sort of, like, life support system.
そこまでして、どうして、特別な力を持つ木だとかか？
Like, why would you go through all that effort? Is it some sort of, incredibly special, powerful tree?
私たちの星にないものだったので、規則として研究を。しかしそれも完了しているため、いつでも廃棄可能です。
Okay. Yeah, it is something not on our planet, so as, like, regulated, we must study it. Or we had to study it. However, that has been completed, and as such, it may be disposed of at any time.
ただ、この木を見ていると、解決できていない問題が残留しているように感じるのです。
Yeah, however, when I look at this tree, I still feel as though, like, there are unresolved issues remaining.
私たちは最も強き生命となるため、自己を改良してきた。この木が生息していた星も制圧し、木は今や生かされているだけの状態と言えるでしょう。
Okay, we have... In order to become, like, this 最も強き生命となるため、I think it's, like, in order to, like, strengthen ourselves as life forms. Like, we have constantly sought, like, means of improving ourselves. The planet upon which this tree lived has already been conquered. And as such, like, one could say that this tree is merely in a state of, like, being kept alive. Like, forcibly kept alive.
だというのに、生きていれば枝を伸ばすのです。新芽を生やし、種子をなそうとするのです。それは性質であり、本質です。
Okay, so we are going with, like, nature. Interesting. And yet, like, being alive, like, it grows branches. It attempts to, like, grow new shoots, or, like, grow new, like, buds, produce seeds. Yeah, like, that is its nature. Its, like, essence. The problem is that, like, 性質 and 本質 kind of both end up being translated to nature in English, but you could probably go with, like, nature and essence.
私にはわかりません。 そうまでして増え、栄え、生きようとする理由が。
I do not understand. Yeah, like why it seeks, like why it tries so hard to, like to grow, like to prosper, to live.
なぜそのような行動をとるように定められ、その先に何があるのかが。
定められ. Like, why was it, like, designated, or... Like, why was it decreed that it should live this way? You know, like, what forced it to be that way, right? Like, the sadameru is like to determine, right? Like why, what determined that it should live this way? And what lies beyond? Or you could maybe go with like, where does that lead? You know?
なるほどな。しかし、それはあんたの職務に関係する問題なのか?
I see. Does that, like, question have anything to do with your, you know, duties?
いいえ、失礼いたしました。持ち場に戻り、次の戦闘に備えます。
No, it does not. My apologies. I will return to my post and prepare for the next war.
命令された以外の行動をとってたな。
It's doing something other than what it was ordered to do.
何らかの理由で壊れた個体なのか、そうでなきゃ、ここのオミクロンの中で唯一、行動の意味を問う余地がある存在。
Is it just a... Is it just a unit that broke somehow, or... Like, is it the only Omicron here that has the ability to question the meaning of its actions?
すなわち、物事を決定するマスター。それに類する存在なんじゃないか?
Yeah, in other words, like the you know, a master capable of making decisions. Could it be something like that?
確かめてみる価値はありそうだな。
I think it's worth checking out. Yeah, I think it's worth figuring that out.
それにしても、継ぎはぎになって、他の力に頼ってまで、生きようとする理由、か。
Huh. Yeah, and then, like, the desire, like, to keep on living. Ah, man, this is hard to put cleanly into words. He's talking about, like, you know, being torn apart or, like, you know, turning into a patchwork, having to you know, rely on others to, or to rely, like, on others to live, you know, and still desiring to live, the meaning of that.
なあ、この冒険がいつかあんたの冒険譚になるとき、仲間としてそこに俺の名も残るのかな。
And there's the Grahatia death flag. There's the Grahatia death flag. Wait, the other characters really didn't get this as much. This one might be like a real-ass death flag. Like, hey, you know, when this, you know, adventure, you know, just becomes one part in, like, your, you know, great story. You know, I wonder if I'll show up in it. You know, as one of your friends, your companions. Yeah, okay, your options are, I think, you know, it'll be written by you, yeah, you'll be in there. I mean, I'm just gonna say that I think, yeah, you would show up, obviously.
そっか、それこそまさしく。
Let's say that'd be... Well, that's like, that's why you're... Maybe.
いや、こういうのは実際に叶ってから言うべきだな。叶う前にあれこれ言うのは気恥ずかしいしさ。
Huh. Like, no, yeah, that's the, you know, the sort of thing you should say after it actually happens. You know, talking about it before it does, you know, kind of embarrassing. Hmm?
さて、とにもかくにも、さっきのオミクロンを追わないとな。
Okay, in any case, we have to
あ
go
い
after
つの
that
蘇生
Omicron.
と、この場所が行き止まりになっている理由、必ず突き止めよう。
We have to... We will find out, you know, who they are. Why this, like, yeah, why this place became a Final Destination dead end. I really don't have a good deal for Ikidomori. But, you know, that's like the thing that they've been going for. They've been talking about moving forward, and then Ikidomori as a place that you cannot move forward from, a stop. Hello, world? Okay. Tight.
まずは、オミクロンベースに戻って、聞き込み中の2人と合流しよう。事情を伝えて、追跡に協力してもらわないとな。
Okay, but that's why you gotta do the hello. Konnichiwa. What, are we gonna be doing the idea of the, like, hello world post as the first, like, sign of actual life intelligence? Okay, we need to go talk to Ovinoze. Get their help in tracking down that Omicron. I get the feeling this is not going to go well for Grahatia.
聞いたわよ。気がかりなオミクロンを見つけたんですって。 よかったわ。こっちは同じような話ばかりで困ってたの。
Okay. Yeah, I heard you found like an Omicron that was like worrying about things. It was like unsure Omicron. You were just hearing the same things over and over again. It was starting to get
長期
exhausting.
行動計画ユニットについて質問しても、存在は知っているが、ユニット単独と面会する方法はないって口を揃えて言うし。
When we asked them about the long-term strategy unit, they all said, I'm aware of its existence, however, there is no possible way to meet with the unit itself alone.
ああ、でも、オミクロンベースには、職務以外の行動を取る個体はいないってことの証明にはなったかもしれないわね。
Okay, but, in that case, it could prove that there's, no individuals in Omicron base operating outside of their, duties.
で、そっちはどんな点が気になったの？
Okay, so, what did you guys find out?
生きる理由に迷っているオミクロンか。確かに他の個体にそんな素振りはなかったわね。
Yeah, and Omicron is, at a loss as to, the meaning of life, or the reason to live. Actually, yeah, Dia is different than Emi there, so, the reason to live. Yeah, certainly the other Omicron, it's, definitely different than the other Omicron here.
それがマスターに類するものだというのもあり得る話だと思う。
I do think that's potentially something, similar to the Master.
ほら、オミクロンは他の星を侵略してそこで得たデータや資源をもとに自己を強化すると言っていただろう。
So, yeah, that is C, the Omicron invaded other planets, used the data and resources gathered via that to strengthen and improve themselves, right?
それなら体を大きく入れ替えるような技術も発展しているんじゃないかと思うんだ。
Okay. Yeah. Oh, okay. So in that case, I think that they would have developed, the sort of technology to drastically change their physical forms.
どういう意図かはともかくとして、マスターが一般のオミクロンの体を得ることも不可能ではなさそうだ。
Whatever their intention with it may be, it might be possible for a master to obtain the body of the form of an ordinary Omicron.
問題はそれをどう証明するかだな。釜をかけたとき、あいつは職務に戻りますとあくまで一般人であることを装った。
And the problem is how we would go about proving that. When we tried to trick it into revealing the truth, it's kamo o kaketa. When we tried to set the trap, right? It just said, it just pretended to be an ordinary unit and said that it was returning to work. Returning
マ
to
ス
its
ターです
post.
かなんて聞いて素直にうなずいてくれるとは思えない。
Yeah, I think if we just go up to it and ask it if it's a master, I don't think it's just going to tell us. I don't think it's just going to straight up tell us that it is.
だったら、こういうのはどう？さっきラハがやってたことを応用するのよ。
No, that's a terrible idea, I'll say. Wait, no, this is a terrible idea. You're just going to kill it. Yeah, so why don't we do... So, how about this? Why don't we do, you know, like what Daha did before. Daha did earlier.
アクセスポイントに、今度はもっと大きなライン撃を落とす。マスターがびっくりして飛び起きるようなやつをね。
Okay. This time we hit that access point with an even stronger lightning strike. You know, something that'll really... God, this is... The problem here is that you, in English, you would say shock. And that... you might say, like, something that would really get the master's attention.
そのタイミングで、例のオミクロンをよく観察しておいて、何かしらの影響が出ていたら、マスターとのつながりの証明になると思わない？
Okay, so at the same time we would carefully observe the, you know, that specific Omicron, and if anything, like if it shows any sign of, you know, that anything happened to it, wouldn't that prove that it's connected to the master in some way?
思い切ったな。けど、すぐに試せる手段としてやってみても良さそうだ。
You might say a master in some way, potentially there. That's pretty drastic, but you know, I think it's worth a shot to... Like, it's like, I think it's worth a shot since we can... Well, like, try it out right away. Like, we don't have any... You might just say, like, we don't have any better
それなら
ideas.
私がアクセスポイントに雷撃を落とす係をするわ。
Okay. Yeah, right? So, in that case, I'll be in charge of, I'll be the one to hit that access point with some lightning.
その間、君の背中は私が守るよ。警備用の機械が飛んでこないとも限らないからね。
Okay, then, yeah, I'll cover for you while you do so. No, guarantee that that those, like, security units won't, come in and try and stop you.
だったら、俺が例のお
It's
店
more like
に
it would
声を
draw
かけ
the
て
security
会話で
units.
気をそらしておく。
Okay, in that case, I'll go speak with the, Omicron and try and distract it.
あんたはそれに付き添っているように振る舞いつつ、あいつに異変が起きないか、しっかり見ておいてくれるか？
Okay, you, what, just, like, act like you're... That's a weird thing to say. I mean, he's just saying, like, watch out, you know, be on observation, see if anything happens to it.
実は、君たちがここに来る直前に、同じ方向からやってきたオミクロンがいたんだ。
Hmm? Okay, before you guys came back, there was an Omicron that, you know, came from
彼
the
は
same
オミ
location.
クロンベースに入らず、アクセスポイントの方へ向かっていった。てっきり巡回かと思っていたが、もしかしたら。
Okay, it didn't enter Omicron base, but instead, like, headed for the access point. I thought it was just on patrol, but it might have been.
きっとそいつだ。すぐに追いかけて
That has to be it.
作戦を決行しよう。
Okay, let's follow it and,
じゃあ、私たちはアクセスポイントの前で待機しておくわね。あなたたちに雷鳴と閃光が届くよう派手にやってやるわ。
okay, we'll be waiting by the access point. You know, like, it'll be loud enough you guys will be able to tell. you'll be able to see it from wherever you are or something like that.
うまくいくさ。サンクレッドやエスティニアンやシュトラにウリエンジェもそれを願ってくれてるんだ。
Yup. The word negatte kureru is very important here. And this is gonna work. You know, that's what Thancred, Ashtola, Stinian, Norianger, you are all like hoping, wishing
行こう
for.
あの悩めるオミクロンのところへ。
Okay, let's go. I am very interested in how exactly they're going to land this plane here.
あんた、さっき木のところで話したオミクロンだろう？また会えてよかった。ちょっと聞きたいことがあったんだ。
Oh, you're the Omicron we were talking to at the tree, or I was talking to at the tree earlier, right? Happy I caught you again. There's something else I wanted to
あ
ask.
の木についていた装置についていくつか教えてもらっても？
Could you tell me a few things about the device that was attached to that tree?
ええ、秘密に抵触しないことであれば。
Yes, so long as it isn't classified information. Any information
二
that
人
isn't
は会話
classified.
に興じ始めた。間もなくアリ勢もアクセスポイントへ来撃を見舞うことだろ
Okay, they're begin talking. Alize will hit the access point with lightning soon.
う。M-017 の観察をか。
I'm sorry, seriously? So, if anything happens, you left click. Igiari! Okay, that's very
私に
clearly
異変
like
が
a...
生じていると？
This is that's very clearly a Ace Attorney style thing. You're saying that there's some an anomaly with me.
確かに先ほどから指揮系統と接続が断続的に切れています。
You're right. Certainly the connection to the chain of command has, or connection to command has been intermittently disconnecting
近
recently.
々工場で見てもらった方が良いでしょうが、あなた方には関係のないことかと。
I believe that would be a good idea to have that looked at the clinic. However, I don't believe that has any relation to the two of you.
いいや、あんたに必要なのはメンテナンスじゃない。俺たちに真相を話すことだ。
And what you okay, what you you don't need maintenance. What you need isn't maintenance, it's to tell us the truth.
こうして話している裏で、俺の仲間がマスターと交信するための端末に来撃を落としていたんだ。
Oh wait, did I mean Yeah, no. Okay, while we were talking, my allies assaulted the terminal used for communication with the master with lightning.
あんたに起きた異常はそれによるもの。つまりあんたとマスターにはつながりがあるんじゃないか？
And that error that just occurred with you is due to that. Therefore, that means that you have some sort of connection with the master, right?
肯定、その事実を認めます。
Okay, affirmative. Yeah, I acknowledge that fact.
あなた方がなぜこれを暴きたかったのかはわかりませんが、これ以上の話はどうか他のオミクロンのいない場所で。
I do not know why you wanted me to reveal this information. But please, I'd like to speak of this in a, like, secluded location where no other Omnicron are present.
彼らに私が私であることを知られたくないのです。
Huh. Ah, 私が私であること。I think you would have to go with, like, I do not wish for them to know that I am me.
わかった。それならアクセスポイントのところへ行こう。俺の仲間たちもそこにいるからな。
Okay, let's go to the access point. Our friends are there too. Our comrades. Alright, let's see what bit they're going for here.
改めて自己紹介をしましょう。あなた方の指摘通り、私はマスターの知能の一端を担う存在です。
The voice modulation that they're doing is cool, but it also makes it very difficult to understand them, which is kind of annoying. And now then, please allow me to introduce myself again. Like, as you have identified, I am... like, yeah, one part of the Master's intelligence. It's like brain. It really is like the Chino... I guess you would say intelligence of the Master.
長期行動計画ユニットと呼ばれています。
Wait a minute. Okay. Like, that which, like, takes into consideration the future of our entire race and devises the path to, to obtain it. The long-term strategy unit. Like, I think you go with, like, long-term strategy and activity unit. That's what I'm gonna go with from now on.
この体は持ち主が別の体に乗り換えたことで使われなくなっていたもの。
Now, this body was no longer in use after its previous owner transferred to another body.
そこに入り込み、職務を放棄していました。
Oh, shit. Yeah, and so I entered it and abandoned my duties. You might even say, like, abdicated from or resigned from my duties.
理由を聞かせてもらえないか。さっき木の前で聞いた話もあんた自身の悩みだったんだろ。
Could you please tell us why? And what you were talking about in front of the tree was, you know, your own, like, worries as well, wasn't it?
私たちははるか昔、全く別の形をした非常に弱い生き物でした。
Okay, so that is... Ooh, okay. So we are potentially doing the idea of... like, these things advancing to the point of no longer having souls. Or you could even get very interesting with it, with, like, the way that reincarnation has been established to exist within this setting, with souls being a function of ether. You could also potentially make artificial bodies that naturally draw souls to them on some, like, near shit as well. There's a lot of crossover, like, between this game's world building and Nier's world building in general, which is kind of why they did, like, the whole crossover story thing. Very similar stories. But also, I think we're probably going to get into the fundamental question of whether or not these things actually still have souls. And along this Haruka Mukashi is kind of like a little bit more fanciful. Like, not really. Whatever. Like a very, very long time ago, we were extraordinarily weak life forms. Like, possessing entirely different forms than you see now.
同じ星に住む別の種族に圧倒され追いやられた子孫たちは操作を求めて体の一部を作り変えた。
It's like we were overwhelmed and driven away by, like, the, other races, or, like, another race. That's, yeah, another race upon our world. Like, our ancestors, in search of, like, stronger bodies, in search of strength, replaced parts of their bodies. Yeah, augmentation. Oh shit! Okay, so we are talking about, actually, 精神を Ooh, okay. That's where we're going with this. Eventually, this spread to include, like, the rest of the body, and finally, like, even the brain was, like, rendered unnecessary as they, like, obtained the means of converting the mind, like, one's self, into, like, signals or into data and storing it externally. They actually did name this quest Hello World? Nice. I don't think that you can fuck that one up. But specifically stating that they were able to store the self externally. The term externally, like outside of the body, is important. Yeah, the perfected machine that was developed this way were called Omicron, and with it, or with them, we came to rule the entire planet.
けれども、すべての不安が払拭できたわけではありません。私たちの星はかねてより異性との交流があった。そこに別の文明があることを知っていたのです。
However, this did not eliminate all fears. This did not eliminate all anxieties. Our planet had had contact with alien worlds for quite some time. Therefore, we knew that there were other civilizations out there. Weak life forms are subjugated by strong life forms. Like, in the dark of space. Or it's like in this dark universe, we had to be stronger. Okay. Like, in search of resources and the knowledge necessary to carry this out, we began invading alien worlds. The results were remarkable. We now have, like, advanced to the point of even being able to destroy, that world of dragons. However, I began to experience an error. Or that's more like I began to make errors. I could no longer, establish a future plan.
故障しちゃったってこと？
Oh, sure. That's not, broken. That's, there's some sort of, fault going on. Just quiet. Yeah. I had it verified, or I was, inspected time and time again, but there were no faults. However, no matter what was done, I could not understand. Yeah, once you have become strong, once you can no longer, lose to anything, what do you do? Or what should we do, rather? Yeah, we needed to become stronger. Okay. Ah, the quote here is kind of interesting. 疑うよ、余地もなく肯定. Like, all actions in service of this purpose have been approved without question.
ですが、もし白くなった後の目的がないのだとしたら、それは本当に必要なことだったと言えるのでしょうか。
However, if there is no purpose after obtaining this strength, could it truly be said to have been necessary?
私たちはただ、星々を破壊してきただけなのでは。
Like, is all that we've been doing destroying worlds?
それで君は指針を出せなくなってしまったのだね。
So that's why you can't, like, issue any instructions.
オミクロンはもうこの星から出ることはありません。
The Omicron will never leave this planet again.
永遠に下されることのない出撃命令を待ち、閉じて終わる。今の私にできる選択は選ばないことだけです。
Yeah, they will they will sit here, like, they will wait, like, and, it's like here they will wait, cut away, and end. You know, forever awaiting a order that will never come. The only choice that I can make now is to not choose.
あんたたちがやってきたことの良し悪しは、俺が語っていいことじゃない。
Okay. Ooh, this is a complicated phrase to say. Because it's not just saying, like, oh, it's not up to me, necessarily. Like, to say whether what you've done is good or bad. You definitely wouldn't use the word judge or anything like that. I think you probably would go with, like, it isn't my place to say whether or not what you all have done is good.
だが、どんな形であれ、ここを行き止
Or
まり
really,
にしな
that's
い
like,
ことはできるん
whether
じゃ
what
ない
you've
か。
done is just. And now you probably would say good. Yeah, but, like, whatever, like, form it may take. They keep using ikidomari. It's so hard to make it actually low. But like, the donna katachi de are is important. Like, you know, like, whatever form it may take. Like, is there anything you could do to not make this place, like, the end of your species? The end of your people?
新しい目的を何がしたいかをあんた自身が決めるんだ。
It's up to you. Like, you yourselves can decide. Like, you yourself can decide, like, what your new purpose is, what you want to do. Okay, yeah, that is impossible. Oh shit! Wait a second, Hazu! Saying Hazu. Oh, so they are going with the soul thing here. Okay, so saying Hazu here. Yeah, in the beginning, we must have had some purpose. Like, and as such, like, we must have had some sort of purpose, like, for our desire for strength. The Hazu is saying, like, there must have been, but that they no longer know what it is now. Wait a second, すり替わっていた? Hold on, I need to look up the phrase here. Surikawaru. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay. Yeah, I believe the like primary reason why we, or it's unclear whether or not it's saying I or we. Like the reason why we were unable to, or like lost. You don't want to say lost sight. Reason why we became incapable of understanding this is like that our being itself was replaced. So what they mean by that is like the sonzai ga tsurikawatte ita. They're saying like that their selves were replaced. They became something else entirely than what they were. Okay, now we're just going with the hypothesis thing here. Yeah, we replaced ourselves with machines. Yeah, not even our brains remained. All of our parts were replaced. How could we possibly be the same things? I'm interested in whether or not they say, like, whether these things actually have souls. Because in this setting, that exists. Like, that's definitely a thing in this setting. The soul is identifiable. Yeah, oh god. I can no longer, like, create or like, this, like, generate dreams and desires as I once was.
引き継がれてきた命令をこなすだけの実行端末に過ぎなかったのです。
実行端末? Like, I am simply an operational, like an operations terminal carrying out instructions given to it.
Na, 俺、この絶望なら突破できると思う。
Hey. I think I can, like, break through. Well, this toppa here is... You probably say overcome this, like, despair of theirs.
喉まで出かかってる言葉があるんだ。けど、それをぶつけるには。
Yeah, like, this whole thing is a debate, right? It's like the words are right there, like on the tip of my tongue, but like once I like confront them with it, or like you might just say like once I let them out, or like if I let them out.
俺とさ、約束をしてくれないか?
Hey, can you make a promise to me?
あんたとの約束はいつも俺と未来をつないでくれた。だから今回もこれが最後にはならないって、そういう願掛け。
This phrase that they've used this phrase for the last 2 expansions, and it's always a pain in the ass. Like, mirai o tsunaide. Like, to connect something to the future. You might even say lead something to the future, right? You know, so the literal there is like, you know, like the promises I make with you have always like led me to you could go with my future. Or the future. Hankake. Yeah, it's like, so this time, you know, it's like a prayer that this won't be the last. Or like this won't be the end. Your 2 options are, yeah, like whatever you need, or I can't. I don't even know what the story would do if you go with like Dameda. Well, I mean, the Dameda there is like, oh, you know, you can't do this. You know, because it's clearly him setting up for a self-sacrifice bit. So I'm just gonna go with like, yeah, whatever you need. Okay. Okay, you know what? I'll push down my discomfort. It's like, oh, you know, you said it, right? So, you know, I won't hold back. You know, I'm gonna be as like greedy as I can.
まず イシュガルドに行こ
At first, now let's go to Ishgard.
う。この前エスティニアンを探しに行った時はゆっくり見て回れなかったからさ。思い出の場所を案内してくれよ。
Okay, last time we were there was just to look for Astidian, and we didn't have time to look around. I want you to like show me all of the like most memorable or like most important places to you.
それからあんたはいろんな冒険をしてきただろ。その中でとっておきだったものを教えてほしい。できれば現地でさ。
And you've had lots of adventures, right? I want you to like tell me about your favorite one. You know, if we can, where it where it happened, if we could.
せっかくまた同じ時代に生きてるんだ。英雄譚をたどるんじゃなくて直接話を聞けたら嬉しい。
You know, we're like here living at the same time again. I want to like, you know, hear it straight from you instead of in some like hero's legend.
最後にあんたも経験したことのない新しい冒険に出よう。大地をかけて
Okay, then let's go out on a new adventure, the one you've never done experience before.
絶対に約束だ。
You know, like traveling the land, crossing the ocean, you know, riding the eternal, like the eternal wind into the sky. It's a promise, right?
なあマスター。昨日お休みって言った自分と今日おはようを言った自分、それが完全に同じものだってどうやったら証明できる？
Okay, so we are just like you see what I meant earlier in the stream, where this whole thing is a series of debates, right? So this thing is saying like we have replaced our entire selves. We have no proof that we are the same beings. Like, even our brains are replaced. How can we possibly be the same thing? We have lost sight of what it is that we actually, or like, we no longer understand what reason we previously had for what we were even doing. Like, we are no longer the same mode of life. And then Grahatia comes in and says, hey, Master, is there any way, how can you prove like this phrase, you can't really say it in the same way. You would have to go a little bit more abstract, but it's like, is there any way that you can prove that like the you before you sleep and the you who wakes up in the morning are the exact same entity?
記憶がつながってることか。でもそれは忘れてしまうこともあるし、捏造する方法だってあるよな。
Like through a chain of memories. Like maybe through a chain of memories. But there are times when we forget, or you know, things are like, and there are ways to like manufacture memories.
なら同じ体を持つことか。厳密に言えば生きているだけで体は変わっていく。完全に一致させることは不可能だ。
So then, is it that we have the same body? Like, strictly speaking, just by living, like, just through the process of living, our bodies themselves change entirely. It's impossible. Like, 完全に一致させることは可能。How do you put that? I mean, I know the exact argument that he's making. It's like, It is impossible to be the exact same organism.
魂にしたって、俺たちの星には一つの魂から分かたれた存在がいたが、同じ人物ではなかったよ。
Okay, that's interesting. Yeah. Even if you were to define it as the soul, on our world, there were beings who were created from the separation of a single soul, and yet they were not the same person. Yet they were not all the same person.
俺もさ、自分を塔の端末にしたり、記憶と魂を重ねたり、いろいろとやってきたんだ。
As for myself, I've become like the access point, or the terminal of a tower. My soul and memories have been interchanged, overlapped.
その度にやっぱり考えたよ。何が自分なのかってさ。
And so obviously I thought about it. What exactly constituted me? That's a bit too specific. It's like what exactly I was. Or what exactly was me.
答えは出たのですか？
Did you find an answer?
分かったことといえば、この問題は俺だけじゃなく、きっと誰にもはっきりさせられないってことくらいだ。
The only thing I understood is that I'm not alone, with this problem, and that nobody else can, explain it all either.
だからこそ、昨日までの自分を理由にして、今この心が思ってることを消す必要はないんだよ。確かに紆余曲折あったが、俺は今が好きだ。
Okay.
みんなと一緒にここまで来られた。
Give me a second here.
命一つ張れるくらい誇らしくて嬉しい。その心のままに望むんだ。先を、未来を、また約束が果たされることを。
いいえ、私にはできない。
Okay, give me a second. This is complicated. Okay. So, one moment. I need to look up some terms. Okay, it's like... Yeah, okay. There's no need to, use who you were yesterday as an excuse to, erase what the you of today feels. And, there's been good times and bad times, but it's like I love the present, or I love now. I'm so proud and happy. Inochi tsutsu hareru kurai. The hareru kurai. That's the line there that's a bit complicated. You know what your hot... Yeah, okay, it's like, is that... Oh, okay, it's basically the same meaning. Nice. Okay, so it's like everything that we've done getting this far, you know, I'm so, like, I'm so proud of it. Like, that I would, you know, risk my life for it. It's like, what, for what? So it's like I want to follow, like, what I feel now. Like, for the future. Like, for those, like, promises to be fulfilled. Or something. Either sending a complete 6.0 tonight, or getting through the next quest very short and one after that, and then having the trial of the dungeon. Yeah, the problem is that I know that stopping at the dungeon would be a cliffhanger, but I can already tell that I'm going to fade out fairly soon. Like, I'm already having difficulty putting things into natural English. I think I probably just didn't sleep very well. So I really don't want to full send it on, like, the super important shit. And have it be fucking incoherent again. Because I can already tell, just, like, through talking, that my ability to transmit my thoughts into intelligible, natural English is compromised. No, that's... yeah, I cannot do that, but... So... This really, though, to kind of... attempt to... explain my thought process here, and potentially illustrate why I shouldn't finish 6.0. Now... This whole segment is why I'm actually, like, pretty okay with the whole Heidelin thing now. I'm not okay with Heidelin's actions in-universe, but rather, all of the things that the characters have been doing within this expansion have been... They're doing a very typical sci-fi thing, which is, the story isn't necessarily about the individual character actions, but rather the greater storytelling elements that each of those characters and actions represent. If that makes sense. And so, in-universe, Heidelin's actions are still fucking stupid and insane. But the story in order for the story to be told in the manner that it currently is, you need to have the Ancients fail, because they are physically incapable of succeeding. In order to embody that concept of something lacking potential. They were merely beings that were, not beings that could be anything else. They could create other things that could have potential, but they themselves could not. And then here, each of these different, races are going to be, they're representing an argument for death in an absurd reality. And then each of the members of the Dawn are providing a counter-argument. And specifically, because it is Dunamis, and Dunamis is being used as a stand-in for dark energy. Yeah, it's all just the philosophy of it. So, they have set up this setting where dark energy is potential. So, think of it like the analogy that I would give, or the way that they've set up this whole thing in universe, is you have the energy that is currently circulating within your body. So just as you expend energy to think or to move your arm, right, in accordance with your thoughts and your intention, dunamis is a extension of one's will. And so similarly to how you move your arm, through will, through intent, you move reality. Meaning, what I think we're going to do here, the way that I think this story is going to end, is that you're going to have either Meteon or something else akin to Meteon, perhaps like a coalition, you know, the greater whole of Meteon and everything that they represent, as a avatar of the concept of entropy. Right? It's gonna be Ranji? Yes. It's gonna be Ranji with the steel chair. And I think that where we're going to go with this is going to be, in a metaphysical sense, placing a claim upon reality. Like, you are going to wrest dunamis from this concept of entropy, right? Via creating or establishing a more legitimate claim upon it. Just as we're doing here, we're countering the argument. In any case. Yeah, they're talking about them being incapable. Incapable. Like, this is the other thing. This is why it was so important for, like, that the ancients used the term, like, yoki sekai. You know, good world, objectively good. Why, even after all the shit they went through, Emet-Selch still just said, why couldn't Hermes just be happy with this good, perfect world, just like everybody else? It's about the incapability of comprehending this concept. He's gonna flip when the next area visit in the zone is Ranjit's home planet? Yeah. Turns out he was an alien, too. And then that's going to kick off a whole fucking DBZ tournament arc that's gonna last for, you know, the vast majority of the runtime of the game, actually. Ah! There's a fucking gnat flying around my room that is absolutely pissing me off. I do not understand desire. I do not understand hope. Well, that's, Gumball. Gumball is more like aspirations. Yeah, I cannot even, like, imagine how to create them.
俺もそれを胸の奥から引っ張り出して言葉にするまでにすごく時間と勇気が必要だったんだ。
Yeah, I mean, for me, like, it took me a lot of time and courage to, you know, pull, like, find the words. Or, like, to pull it out, you know, from deep within and put it into words.
その時のことを教えてやるよ。壊れかけた世界から明日を願った人々の冗談みたいな希望の話。
冗談みたいな。Let me tell you, like, about, you know, that time. Jordan Mitaina. I think you might go with, like, ridiculous there. You know, of, like, people in a broken world. Or, like, a world on the brink. You know, and their ridiculous hope for the future.
おやすみとおはようの間に叶った望み。まさしく夢の話をさ。
Okay. Fuck. So that's why you... fuck, that's the... Oyasumi, oyaho, ohayo no aida ni... That's so hard to make it work in English. That's so hard to make it work. You know, because that's the exact same wording that he used for the esoteric argument for continued consciousness, right? Like you can't be sure whether or not when you go to sleep you actually die and are replaced with a different version of yourself that just has your memories. But that thought experiment. I'm sure I'm not gonna check the English. I mean... I think you have to go with, like, about something that like... You know, a wish that came true. Like, between sleep and waking. A dream. The oyasumi oyaho... Oh, why can I not speak? Ohayo. It's not necessarily you. Like, you bid someone else. They're just using the terms between, like, a time between good night and good morning. I think in English you just go with, like, between sleep and wake. Well, I mean, you could even say a time between good night and good morning. Damn. It's like you idiot. Like, just once. This is like, just once, stay with us until the end.
水晶の道。ああ、確かにこれは彼の。
Path of Crystal. And that's... It's like, that's just like him.
みんなも分かったような顔して、こっちがどんな気持ちでいると思っているのよ。
The next quest is 6 minutes total in English, but leads to the ones after it story-wise. Fuck. Let's see. This is like, yeah, Raha, everyone, you know, they like, you know, looked like they knew something, like, you know, understood something, you know, how do they think we feel?
次に会ったらおでこを引くくらいじゃ許さないんだから。
Oh, we're getting buffering? It looks like it's resolved itself a little bit. And next time I see him, it's not just gonna be, you know, a flick on the forehead. You know, you might just say slap on the wrist or something. Two good options are to call it and do the final stretch rushes, or chug like Toucan's monster and become a monster. I mean, let's see what the next... Yeah, that's like move forward. Okay. The question is, if I were to end it here, would I be able to actually make it through to the end of 6.0 next time? Would that actually happen? Easily? Probably, yeah. Ah! Because I can tell that I'm off, right? Like, I just didn't really... Next quest is like 6 minutes in the end, but no philosophical stuff. Quest after that is easily an hour. 15-minute dungeon. Ah. Or cutscene. It might be better to just save it then. It might be better to just save it. But could just do tomorrow and use... I mean, no, I wouldn't want to just, like, do that, probably. Okay. I think then I would just have to, like, actually stick it out until the end, no matter how long that ends up going. Like, even if it ends up going for 6, that time, you know, it'd probably be better to just stick it out. Get plenty of sleep. That's the thing, I got too much sleep. That's what happened this time. I got too much sleep. I did that thing, you know, where you're like, oh, I'm gonna, like, get to sleep at a reasonable time tonight, and then you just end up sleeping for like 11 hours straight, and you wake up going, what fucking year is it? Right? You pass the point of sleep being restful, and instead being incapacitating. Probably without any overtime. Nice. Only kind of sleep I get, right? Yeah, like, what they're actually doing with the story here is very, very interesting and cool. I like it a lot. I do probably think that this is going to end up edging out Shadowbringers for me in terms of favorite expansion. Mostly just because I'm a sucker for this style of, like, esoteric, abstract storytelling. I could very easily see people... I do think that a big problem with it is the translation of, like, the spelling of dynamis instead of dunamis. Because it's going to lead fewer people to the actual philosophical origin of it, and lead fewer people to the, like, source that they're pulling this from. And so if you're just playing through the game normally, you might go with this as like, oh, what, they're just kind of like doing a bullshit power of friendship, whatever thing, right? Whereas here, they're establishing each of these characters are giving it an argument. They're summarizing their stance on life as a concept. You understood dynamism in the philosophical sense the moment I saw it? Yes, but okay, my problem is that the problem is that the spelling that is typically used in discussions of Aristotle is with a U, meaning that you would want to actually do that so that, you know, people actually can go look it up more easily. But also, I think it's fairly clear that when they were doing the translation, like, the team doing the translation didn't understand any of these references. I don't think, at all. Considering that they got rid of the word qualia. Like, they got rid of the word qualia, man. I think that that's pretty good evidence that they didn't know what the fuck was going on. But, you know, it makes the concept of pure ether or pure dunamis life more interesting. Because if something is pure dunamis without any sort of ability to actualize it, then it will never achieve that potential. You just have raw potential in a unclear form that can never actually be anything. If you have pure ether, pure being, it can never be anything else unless, you know, like changed on or acted on by something via dunamis or whatever. It just is. And it's not necessarily to say that something can't change its state without dunamis, but they're talking more about the generalized concept of becoming something other than what it currently is, of reaching a different state of actualization. They removed the word terminal from Graha's argument, the stigma obscuring the parallel between them. That's great. I love that. I love that. That's awesome, man. Hang on, did they... Yeah, no, they also didn't do the good night and good morning thing. They said, if you like, I will tell you a tale of a world on the brink, of a people who never gave up on the future, of a man who realized his greatest dreams and then awakened to a greater reality. That is not what he was talking about. That's not what he was talking about at fucking all. He made the statement that you cannot be sure whether or not the you, like, before you sleep and the you after you wake are the same person. And so he says, let me tell you about, the thing that I'm going to tell you about is something that, you know, happened between sleep and wake, a dream. So he's referencing like a third state of being, that there is a connection point between the you of, you know, one day and you of the next being a dream. And you got rid of that. Awesome. Awesome. You're so good at reading. The translation contains the word dream somewhere, so it's 120% accurate? Yeah. Awesome. Wait, what? Okay, I just checked. So this is, I guess, what we can do instead of, you know, moving forward here. I'm just gonna do a very quick, English review. Very quick English review. And then call it. That is impossible. In the beginning, we had a higher purpose than our pursuit of power. No, they said, hazu, we must have had some other purpose. It's saying, I don't know that anymore. But we lost sight of it when we so I can't speak. Why can I not say words today? Why can I not pronounce that word? I've said this word many times. Irrevocably. Wow, even hearing the pronunciation, wow, yeah, man, my brain is not working today. Irrevocably. Altered our fundamental forms. No. It's not that we lost sight of it. They became unable to know what it was. When we cast aside our flesh, so too did we cast aside all that defined us. Nothing remains of who we once were. I have no aspirations. I can no longer dream. The vital spark is lost. Lost amidst circuitry and code and commands. What? But they just didn't understand any of this, did they? They just didn't understand literally any of this. That's great. I love that. That's like so much fun, man. Okay. Yeah, no, it's not... Okay. We lost sight of it when we so irrevocably altered our fundamental forms. No. It said, I believe the reason why I can no longer understand this is because, like, our existence itself, like, our mode of existence has altered, or has changed, like, been changed out with another. When we cast aside our flesh, so too did we cast aside all that defined us. Nothing remains of who we once were. Wait, no. Wait, they just completely got rid of the line. Wait, they just completely got rid of the line. Like, we replaced ourselves with machines. Not even our brain remaining. Like, not even our brains remaining. If all of the parts have been replaced, how could we possibly be said to be the same things? So they just completely got rid of the question being asked here. They got rid of it. It's just a ship of Theseus thing, but they got rid of it anyway. Like, the 全てのパーツを入り替えたのです。どうして同じものと言えるでしょう? You need to have them say that question explicitly. Watashi wa mou. Yeah, 私であったもののように。私であったもののように。Yeah, like, I am no longer able to create or, like, establish desires as I once was. I am nothing more than a terminal executing orders that have been passed down to me. They changed that. They changed the line, like, I am now nothing more than a terminal. Like a device executing orders that are passed down to me. They changed that to lost amid circuitry and coding commands. They're making a philosophical argument, actually. Like, the point here is that you could actually, the thing that can be, that N17 here is describing, could also be, you could use these exact same terms to describe a human. Like, all of your cells get replaced. right? You could describe yourself as nothing more than a, like, meat suit carrying out orders that are given down from your brain. Right? Like, you can run, and they have, like, experiments have been run. You can predict what people are going to do before they do them. Like, your brain decides before you are necessarily aware of the decision that you are going to make. They got rid of all of the humanizing elements of M17's lines here. And then Grahatia's, like, attempting to sympathize with this gets completely lost as a result. The arguments no longer line up. Fucking hell, man. Like, I'm operating at, like, 20% capacity, and even then, bro. That's ridiculous. Like, you don't need to know all of this shit. That's the other thing, is that, like, you can translate a story being written by people who are far more knowledgeable about the thing that they're writing about than you. You don't need to know all of this shit to translate it. You just need to translate what's there. When they use the word qualia, you just need to not erase it. When they have a character give a question of saying, if all of the parts have been if all of my parts have been replaced, can you really say that I'm the same person? The same thing? You just have to translate that. You don't need to know what the fuck they're talking about, but people who know what the writers, like, are talking about are going to be able to pick up on it. You just need to not think that you're smarter than the professional writers here and replace their shit. They could also just turn around and ask, since supposedly the writer is like 5 feet away. Yeah, totally. They totally could, man. Oh yeah, you know, the stories are written side by side after all. Totally. What a joke. But yeah, after seeing all of that, next time is definitely going to be a no English zone. Like, we're going full no English mode for next time. Fuck that shit. Also, I just love how ridiculous it is that they translate the entire, like, they do keep it as sir in the English the entire time. They seriously translated master as it refers to computer programming to sir. Brother. Like, are you 12? Sorry, I've been dissociating. Yeah, same. Yo, same. I'm like fucking astral projecting here right now, man. Physically, I'm still in bed. There's no way that you can prove that coherent and incoherent me are the same person. Get pulled from bridge, sir. Right? In any case, this has been fun. There's no way in hell they're going to have Alfino and Alize actually die off either. This is going to be a situation where, like, me, Alfino, and Alize are going to go confront with and argue against the concept of entropy and, like, disprove it. And as such, make a more actionable and more legitimate claim onto reality. I would not be surprised if this ends in us, like, literally just, like, yoinking control of the entirety of Dunamis to effectively rewrite the rules of reality. Especially considering that that's been, like, the main thing that they've been talking about, you know, the Sekai no Kotowari. Return to the waking Saiyans and slash Shira Tataru. Is she even there? I don't even know where Tataru is right now. But what I do know is that if this is all being, like, if it's, like, imposing your will upon reality, we really should have just brought Tataru with us here. Like, everybody else needs to make a legitimate argument to beat out these dead civilizations. I'm fairly certain Tataru would learn how Dunamis works and then just, like, instant. Tataru becomes the universe. Just instantly. We need to keep this information away from her at all costs. Making tea while she waits for blackmail money to roll in? I am not entirely sure. I'm fairly certain that Tataru with the full force of Dunamis would turn straight into a Haruhi situation. I'd go straight into a Haruhi situation. Which, if you don't know, is set in the setting of Hyperion. Tataru has already become the universe? That's true. That is true. You know, we all just exist in her sick game for her own amusement. That's all we are. That's all it'll ever be. But yeah, that's gonna do it for me. Honestly, strangely enough, I feel like I'm more coherent the less sleep that I get. So maybe actually for Sunday, I'll just, like, be intentionally sleep deprived. That might be the strat. But yeah, hopefully, I will see you all there for, hopefully, the 6.0 finale. Apologies for the shorter stream, but I really don't want to do the thing that I've now done several times, and to be madly incoherent during the most important scenes in the entire game. And then I have to, like, redo them. Is that what you do, Dawn Trail? Yeah. Look, watch me be, like, the biggest Dawn Trail fan known to man. It's a Dawn Trail sweep. No, but probably there is zero chance. That's just making me want to be a contrarian even more. I'm gonna sit there actively hating everything and be like, oh, actually, this is, like, super cool and super interesting because, I would be disappointed. It's just, the desire is there, right? But no. Dawn Trail's honestly fine once you get past the part that's ARR minus any story whatsoever that lasts for 80% of the expansion. Sounds great, you know? Sounds really good. You're really doing a great job of selling it to me. I'm in. But yeah, no, that is actually going to do it for me for right now. I will see you all on Sunday. I need to do something, man. I don't know if I need to, like, sleep in, like, go to sleep earlier tonight, or, like, go work out. But it's gotta be something. And so I am off to go figure that out. Peace.